All right, tonight we're going to be talking about the website areavibes.com. Now, this is a website that can help us with our demographics. The nice part about using this website is it's going to provide us with a lot of different variables that are going to be able to help us in determining, is this a good area I should look for tax properties in or real estate properties in, or is this an area that I should avoid? Okay. So not only for people that are looking to live in the area, but also for us as investors, we want to be able to figure out, okay, is this a good place to have my property or should I look elsewhere? Okay. So here we can type in either by address, zip, neighborhood, or city. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and choose a city here. And notice, if you type in a city that it recognizes, it's going to show a drop-down box. So Gary, Indiana, Garyville, LA for Louisiana, and Garysburg for North Carolina. We're going to go to Gary, Indiana. Now, you'll notice that when it comes up, it says here's the area that matches yours. Here are the others areas nearby with a higher score. Now, I'm going to show you what this livability score means. Okay. So as we click here on Gary, so it's going to tell us, and it's going to rank us in livability total, amenities, cost of living, crime, demographics, education, employment, housing, transit, and weather. Okay, so those are the areas where, again, they want to find out how is this area doing. All right, well, let's go look at Gary, Indiana. Okay. Now, Gary, Indiana, for those of you who don't know, is just south and east of Chicago, Illinois. Okay, so livability. For amenities, it gets a C+. Not bad. For cost of living, it gets an A+. That means housing isn't very expensive. For crime, it gets an F. Okay, not as impressive. For education, it gets a D+. Okay, again, not so impressive. For employment, it gets a D+. Okay. For housing, it actually gets a D+. Okay, and for weather, it gets a C. Okay, so let's take a look here and let's see. So when we're talking amenities, grocery stores, food and drink, shopping, coffee, schools, parks, libraries and books, entertainment, public transit, and fitness. Okay, it wants to know where all of these are. So this is where we're looking at with Gary, Indiana. Okay. So now let's look at cost of living. 87,100 is average. It's 5% lower than the rest of Indiana. Okay. The cost of gasoline, 7% higher than Indiana. Not a deal breaker there. Crimes. 7,406 per 100,000 people. 119% higher than the rest of Indiana. Violent crimes. 792 per 100,000. Again, 129% higher than Indiana. High school graduation rate, 73%. So that's 10% lower than Indiana. Student to teacher ratio, 18 to 1, 18% lower than Indiana. Employment, median household income is around $27,846. That's 38% lower than the rest of Indiana. Average commute time, 28 minutes. A little bit higher than the rest of Indiana. Housing, the median house value in there is $68,600. That's 37% lower than the rest of Indiana. Median rental rate, $667, 2% higher than the rest of Indiana. Okay. Average summer temperature, 74, 34 for an average winter temperature. Air quality index, 1 being the best, it's at 51. Okay. Now I can tell you this, that there are steel plants in and around Gary, Indiana. So I know why their air quality is not so good. Okay. Here are different Gary apartments that are for rent, and in fact it gives you a ranking as far as for, okay, here's how they rank within that city. So you look up homes for sale. Again, you can give a nice range. So we're not going to go 50 million. Let's take that down to 200,000. Okay. Now before we do a search, and I want you to know it's powered by Zillow. Okay. So before we do a search, we want to take a look at this. That's the statistics. Population, 80,000. Okay, 6.5 for Indiana, population in 2000. So what is it that we're noticing here? As real estate investors, these are things we want to be made aware of. The population is shrinking. Okay, so married ratio, have children under 18 years. Again, you're looking at the different ethnicity. Okay, so then let's actually take a look at some homes. So this is going to open up Zillow for us, which is fine. Okay. And as you can see, it's saying here, hey, you've got way too many results. We need to narrow down our results. Okay. Well, let's narrow down our results a little bit. Let's go at least a 3-bedroom. Okay, it narrowed it a little bit. Okay, let's make sure we have at least a 2-bath. And let's say square footage wise, we want at least 1,500. Minimum, we'll say 1,000. Actually, what we'll do is this. We'll take this up to 3,500. That's fine. Okay. And then you know what? We want to see the homes that have been around for a while, because typically that's going to mean the seller's motivated or they're frustrated they haven't been able to sell it. So we're going to say 90 days at least. There it goes. Now, as you can see, that significantly reduced the amount of properties we have available. Okay, we'll get back to using Zillow in another video here. Okay, but just to show you, as far as going through area vibes here. Okay, so we look, here's Gary. Okay, all right. So then let's take a look here more specifically at crime. So you can see here, per 100,000 people, Indiana averages 346 violent crimes. Gary averages 792. Okay. You can look at the Gary Police Department. Okay. Gary is safer than 2.3% of the cities in the nation. I looked at a town that it said it was safer than 0% of the nation. Okay. So the chance of being a victim of a crime in Gary is 1 in 14. Okay. So not necessarily happy things that are here, but let's take a look at some other things. Why would people be there? So let's look at the employment. Okay. So as you can see here, Gary is below Indiana as well as the national average. Okay. Now, as far as unemployment, clearly there's a lot of unemployment going on in this area. Okay. And then the unemployment rate there, it has actually gone, it's actually risen. They don't have it for 2013 yet, okay? But 25.8% of the people are in poverty. So this would be an area to come in, be able to find housing for cheap. And honestly, if you could offer it to people for not very much and still make your money, I have a feeling you'd have a lot of people coming in, although you may have a high turnover rate as well, okay? So let's go back to Gary here. Okay, so as we're looking here, there's our apartments, okay? And then here you have different things where you have neighborhoods in and around Gary. Notice, I mean, it is right there on the edge of Chicago itself. So cities near Gary. So you have Hammond, Indiana, Schererville, Indiana, New Chicago, Indiana. You're going to have Lansing, Illinois. Let's go ahead and actually look at, let's take a look at Lansing, Illinois, actually. Let's see where it ranks us. So, it's getting there. Okay, so it's at a 75. Look at how it is. So a B plus, an A, a D, a B, a B, a B, and a C. Okay? So you can do a lot of this information. Now, it keeps saying down here, put the livability score on your website. So let's take a look. So here you can create a widget if you're trying to showcase to people, hey, here's why you want to buy the properties that I'm selling. Free widgets to help you evaluate your area. Why not use it? Okay. So a little bit about what this video was to showcase just a little bit about what Area Vibes can do. What I would like you guys to do down in the comments down below, tell me what you have found that I didn't show on the Area Vibes website. Okay, guys, great. Look forward to talking with you.